Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in. Um, I wanted to do a bit of exploring with you today, doing some reading, doing some playing around with some plugins. And we've got Gold here by Acustica, nice Neve selection, lots of different channels. And we've got Navy, and I wanted to do these two because they both have this 81 going on, but they're a little bit different. The B on Navy is a 1081, A is a 2081, and then of course we have the 1081 that's in gold. Both also have the 2254, so we might take a look at that towards the end. But I did want to mainly focus on the EQ first. I've got a little track here. I've got this all loaded up on the vocals with the same EQ points on each one. Actually, let's pull those back up. One of the biggest differences you'll notice is in our gain amounts. This has a width of plus and minus 24, whereas this one is actually plus and minus 19. So assuming that each of these are 6 dB markings here, try to match it here. So everything should be pretty even. Let's take a quick listen to the track itself.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que...
So it's definitely a fun little track. Like I said, we've got these same settings on all three of these. You can see 56 on the low, 390 on our low mid. We've got the same thing going on here. Bit of a boost here, bit of a pull there. Try and clean things up. Another difference is that these filters on Navy are 18 dB per octave versus 20 dB per octave in gold. And other stuff is in the manuals if you ever want to go check it. But let's take a listen. Let's start with gold and see what that EQ has our track sounding like.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100.
So it is a lot cleaner, but I feel like we did lose some of the weight of things, some of the presence. We'll take a look at Navy B. So this is the original, so to speak, 1081 strip.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100.
I feel like that one is a little bit weightier. What we'll do is we'll play it again from the top, and I'll just flip between the two of them. I might reintroduce the original just so we can hear what that sounds like. Well, spelling obviously isn't my thing this morning. We'll go back and start it again from the top.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do
This is the
jeito que
original
só tu
here.
sabia. Tua boca deixa.
So to me, B was definitely a little bit cleaner towards the mids, a little bit more weighty towards the bottom. Gold had a nice top end, but it just made it sound a little thin in this context, at least the way we have it set up. So far, I'm preferring Navy.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo.
Now, Navy A is a 2081 from what I understand, which is a 1081 with a 1073 output amp. So this one is kind of like a modified version of B. And we'll take a listen, we'll compare the two of them directly. We'll do the same thing, we'll start with B, we'll listen to A, and then we'll flip back and forth between the two of them after that.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100.
We'll take a listen to Navy A.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço.
So it's a bit heavier. I think it's got a little bit more low end presence than any of the other two. Top end is pretty similar, but I think given that the low end is more present, it kind of balances things out a little bit differently. So we'll flip back and forth between just the two Navy settings here. We've got a B over here, and this is A. I mean, you can tell by the color, the lights on them. But we'll just flip back and forth between the two of them, starting with B.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém.
So you can see even between the two from the same plugin, there's some differences. With B, again, just being a little bit more clear in the top end, a little bit more forward there, and A just being a little bit heavier. Towards this faster section here, for example, I kind of prefer B because it's a little easier to hear what she says. But with this whole beginning section, I feel like A has the weight necessary to really make her sit into that slow, swirling intro a little bit better. So, truth be told, I'd probably play with both some more before making a final decision. But I do want to check out the compressors while we still have some time. So all of these come with a 2254 type compressor. Now what's interesting is some of the settings are a little bit different. For example, in gold, we do have an attack setting here with the 2 stars setting being the original. We don't even have an attack time at all on Navy, but it was fixed in the original unit. Whereas we have different releases. Navy has the 400 and 800 that came with it, and Gold has 350 and 750 being the closest that we can get to those. 2 seconds here, 1.5 seconds here. So they're very close. This one is a little bit more true to the original, I believe, but this just has more and slightly different options. So we will leave the shape mod, the transient mod that they have here, the same. This one doesn't have a filter, so we won't use it. And you'll notice that we're leaving all the preamps off also. Any Acustica fans will know that the preamp is a large part of the sound of these things, so we're just checking out what the basics do for today. There's so many preamp options in both. I didn't want to spend too much time clawing through those. But let's take a listen. Let's go back to Gold, set this compressor, and then we'll go ahead and copy the settings over to the Navy strips.
Já faz algum tempo.
Now right now I've got these at a 2-to-1 ratio. I do kind of like the soft ratio deep threshold thing with these 2254s.
Me perco nas memórias. Me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço. Tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém. Já faz algum tempo.
So we're going to leave it at the 350 recovery just to keep it close to this 400. Let's actually pull up on our threshold just a tiny bit.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias. Me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100.
Okay, so let's try and match that. We're getting around 5-6 dB of compression here.
Já faz algum
See if we can match it on this Navy.
Que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço. Tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém. Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo.
So let's take a quick listen to just the compressor. We'll turn off our EQs and see if we can get the compressors bouncing the same. Let's take another listen to Navy.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias. Me lembro das histórias.
Okay, let's try that one more time. The makeup gain was a little bit low on that one.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo.
Gold's Compressor.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei.
So again, pretty similar. We'll listen to them. We'll flip back and forth during this faster section. We'll start right before it. And we'll start with Gold, and we'll just kind of see how that compressor reacts to when she starts singing a little bit faster. Her syllables come out a little bit, more interestingly.
Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém.
It's really interesting with the compressors. I feel like the Navy compressor has a little bit more bounce, but the Gold compressor, it seems a little bit clearer in a way. There's just part of her vocal that makes a little bit more sense to me going through the Gold compressor, but there's some of her energy that makes a little bit more sense to me going through the Navy compressor. So we'll turn our EQs back on and see how it just sounds going through the entire channel. Again, we'll start with Gold, then we'll listen to B. Actually, let me copy these settings into our A strip. Again, we have a low threshold of -30 over here, low threshold of -50. Our markings are different, so we're trying to match it, mainly paying attention to the gain reduction and the makeup. But it looks like it should be around the same. We seem to be getting pretty similar compression. So we'll quickly flip through all three of those as the whole channel strip this time. Start back at the beginning.
Já faz algum tempo que eu não te vejo. Me bateu saudade daquele teu beijo. Me perco nas memórias, me lembro das histórias que sempre te contei. Pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém.
So, you can hear the difference between the three of them. We'll do it one more time just over this fast section. We'll give each compressor a line, or each channel strip. And then one more time, we'll start with Gold this time.
Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém.
So far A is my favorite. I feel like I like big weighty things, and I feel like it gives me that while still giving me some clarity in the top end. Gold, like I said earlier, I feel like it just, in this context, thins things a little bit, which can be great if she was doing some other things, but she kind of needs some of that weight for this song. B is definitely in the middle, pretty much smack dab in the middle. So it's an interesting comparison between the three of them, and just to remember what it sounds like, here's the original.
Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós nos amamos. Depois das vezes em que nós brigamos, a intensidade era 1000 vezes 100. Beijo de língua mordendo o pescoço, tu vinha por cima fazendo do jeito que só tu sabia. Tua boca, teu cheiro não tem pra ninguém.
Yeah, I feel like A is just the most well-rounded. B definitely second place. Gold didn't quite make the cut for this record.
Tô aqui pensando naquele jeito que nós.
Not that it sounds bad, just not what I would have wanted for this song in particular. That being said, I'm totally in love with the 31102 in there, so I'll probably be using it differently anyhow. And like I said earlier, we're not using any of the preamps, so that's a completely different ballgame too. When we start introducing those, start pushing our input trims, bringing out those harmonics, and really just shaping things differently. Gold also has some routing options, which is kind of neat. Right now, we're going filter to EQ to compressor, which I believe is what Navy is doing. But being able to sidechain the filter and the EQ to the compressor and play with things a little bit differently can definitely make Gold the most versatile when you consider that it also has 6 different EQ modules and you can mix and match them. So they definitely have their separate advantages in all context. That's it for today, though, guys. Thanks for tagging along with me, checking out what we've got here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.